Welcome back to another episode of New Culture, New Knowledge. For today's chapter, it has been decided to focus the research in comparing two different countries, but the main feature that is going to be analyzed today is Colombian and South Korean family values. As everything must be completely clear, we have today two special guests. Dr. Fernando, who has had the opportunity to live in Colombia for about 10 years and about 2 years in South Korea, and the Professor Jasmine, who is currently teaching in South Korea and is also an important researcher in Yangtze University. They will be the ones in charge of expanding our knowledge in today's selected topic.
Hello everyone, welcome to this new chapter called New Culture, New Knowledge. Today we have a special guest. He is Dr. Fernando. He has lived for about 10 years in Colombia and also he had the opportunity to live in South Korea. For that reason, I prepared some questions for him. So the first question that I want to ask you is that as we know, you live in both countries. So we want to know what is the main difference that you found regarding to family values in those countries.
Hello you all, thank you so much for your invitation. I'm really glad to be here today in this great program. And yes, as you just said, I have had the opportunity to live in Colombia for about 10 years and in South Korea for about 2 years and a half. Then it is possible to say that there are many differences between these two countries. But one of the differences I consider worth highlighting is their religion. If you go to Colombia, you will notice that most of the people, almost 50% of the population, is Catholic. They follow the Catholicism. But if you travel to South Korea, the Confucianism is going to be as the main religion. The Confucianism is a religion, but it's also a political thinking. This religion is completely related with the political thinking. So the main idea of the Confucianism is to, through virtue, values, and ethics, create a good government and a stable society. This is the main purpose of the Confucianism. Different to the Catholicism. If you see the Catholicism, it's not directly related with the political thinking.
Thank you, Dr. Fernando, for accepting our invitation. It was an honor to have you here.
Did you know that Colombia and South Korea have some relations? Relations between Colombia and South Korea include trade, military, and diplomatic agreements. The Colombian troops arrived in Korea in 1951, and direct diplomatic relations were established in 1962. During the Korean War, Colombia was the only Latin American nation who actively participated. On 25 June 2012, Colombia and Korea officially concluded negotiations for a free trade agreement. So, hello Professor Jasmine, it's a pleasure for us to have you here today, as we know that you have worked and lived for a long time in South Korea and you have also had the opportunity to teach in there, so that means you've been really near the families, South Korean families. We would like to ask you, what are the main differences you find in South Korea and in Colombia?
Hello, Mr. Angel. Thank you for your invitation. I'm so glad to be here. And of course, as you said, I worked a few years in South Korea. So the main difference that I found, that I face in that country, is that families raise their children in a collectivist environment. But in Colombia, families wanted that their children will be individualist. If you travel to South Korea, you will find that teenagers and children wanted to work together in a cooperative way. But in Colombia, they want to do things by themselves. South Korea, ties between parents and children are very strong. Parents take raising their offspring as a serious duty and have high expectations for them in terms of academics and career success. This often puts immense pressure on Korean jobs. Parents discipline their kids by teaching them moral values. They also use punishments if necessary. In addition, parents teach self discipline and support kids in every fall of line. They expect good grades and want their kids to be more educated than themselves. We can observe a father punishing his son for bad behavior. In comparison to South Korea, Colombian kids tend to live with their parents for a way more time than average. When going to college, many adolescents must move to another city to study. However, most of the people in Colombia prefer to still live with their parents and commute to their university. Also, parents expect their kids to stay with them and will never kick them out at age 18, as might be the case in other cultures. In Colombia, you are a kid until you are 30. That is there really, and people are okay with this custom. Sundays for Colombians are family days, which means people may turn you down for plans on Sundays since they will spend this time with their family members.
Another important fact that is worth pointing out is punctuality. In Korea, everything is really punctual and happens on time. For example, if you want to arrive someplace, you have to give the exact time. You can't arrive late because you are gonna be probably knocked by the person who is waiting for you. As you can see and observing here,